Okay, our third speaker is Ben Hyde. Ben is a different look at this problem. Ben's a small business owner. He owns BCCHardware. He's an entrepreneur. And I think more important than that, he's out there in rural Alberta, and he's a video gamer. He needs really fast access. Ben, tell us about your situation.
Well, thank you very much. I'm actually going to not just talk about video gaming aspect of things. I'm also going to talk about business use of broadband rural delivered wirelessly, because broadband equals business in this day and age. If you don't have a broadband access, you don't have business. And I've included a couple of PowerPoint slides you may have in handouts in front of you. And if you can refer to the first slide, don't take the slices of the pie as literal. This is basically shown for scale. In 2000, rural startup growth was very, very small based on expensive microwave or other connections. I know a couple of businesses that actually had fiber ran to their business in order to start, and of course it's very expensive. In 2002, we started to see a little bit more growth. 2005 is about when BCCHardware got broadband, and I know a lot of other people as well got broadband around this time, and definitely the rural startup growth was much larger. And as we go into 2008 and onward, the potential for tech-based startups in rural Alberta, rural Canada, are much greater due to this accessibility. And as you referred to, entertainment, gaming, media consumption is very key with broadband. On the second slide, again, this pie chart is just shown for scale. We see that TV video content has the biggest chunk of the pie. And keep in mind that we're talking about legitimate usage, because I know a lot of ISPs, as Bell and TELUS may say here as they come on, will say that a large percentage of usage is illegal usage through downloading pirated software, pirated movies and music. But even as far as legitimate use, TV and video content take the biggest chunk of the pie. Online gaming, of course, is in there. We see media downloads and communications also taking up a fairly good percentage. And I recently, as a gadget junkie with BCCHardware, I picked up a Microsoft Zune, and all of you Mac guys, you could actually just put your iPods away for a second and consider the wonder that is a Zune. Because it combines social networking, as we talked about earlier, with media playing. It's like Facebook for music, and it's spectacular. But the demands of the Zune are that if you have friends added to your device, you can actually download their music for free. You pay a $15 a month flat fee, and so suddenly, I mean, I have 20 or 30 friends that use the device, and suddenly I'm downloading 3 to 4 gigs of their music. Very bandwidth intensive, and to try and be nice to my ISP, I only turn it on at night when the main load is off. And communications such as Skype, MSN, IP telephony, Ustream is what we're actually doing now for BCCHardware. I'm actually streaming this conference live. You can go get the link on Illuminate, I believe. You can go check that out. And we do all sorts of that stuff in the rural Alberta. And here's what I see firsthand for gaming, for communications, just for general web usage of what ISPs must provide. First of all, ISPs must provide low latency connections. A lot of the world has moved to internet-connected devices such as telephones, the iPhone, that sort of thing. But those networks, Edge and GSM and CDMA, they all have a very high latency, which latency is the time it takes to request data and then for the data to come back. And for gaming and communications, you need a realistic latency of 30 to 50 milliseconds maximum. And where these wireless connected devices, they have a latency somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 to 250 is pretty typical. And for business use, that's just not acceptable. This low latency is essential for online gaming and communications, as I said before. But also what I see a big problem with ISPs and what they have to provide, and this is on the PowerPoint slide 3, is that they must increase bandwidth to meet demand, as was mentioned earlier by a few other people. Right now, my current ISP offers a maximum of 8 gigs per month bandwidth. And for personal use, that's pretty normal, I guess, to not exceed that. But as I'm trying to run a business as well, it becomes a real challenge on to do that at 8 gigs per month of bandwidth. For instance, in the United States, Comcast, a big cable and internet company down there, recently put a bandwidth limit on of 250 gigs, significantly more than what I can. I mean, I can't even buy that much, and I would like to buy a little more, but that's just the limitations that rural broadband has. As was mentioned, wireless is not the answer. It can't scale going forward. Interesting statistic I pulled off of Podcasting News. The link is in your notes as well. That video usage is up 45% so far in 2008. And of this survey, if you go through and read the details of this talks to people, a certain number of people, and they say, well, their video usage is up. But what the survey doesn't include is those people whose video usage is up. They're also consuming larger amounts. Like there's 45% more people using video, but of those 45%, they're consuming 10 times more video. And again, very bandwidth intensive. And this last mile effort it's getting to us at the last mile, the first mile, but it's still not providing the level of service that we need to function, I guess, normally in this digital age. And the reason is that us consumers, we demand high-quality content regardless of our geographical location, right? We don't want to see the slideshows of 1998 when we're watching video online. That's so last, I guess, century. So as we wrap up here, what consumers need? Last slide. We need 3 things, basically. We need faster access. Rural broadband speeds are typically quite slow, and I've actually talked with another tech here in town about the limitations of wireless and how these networks are set up. Just way too much saturation. There's just not enough bandwidth to go around, and that limits everybody. So rural broadband needs faster access and higher bandwidth limits, as I referred to. I just received a bill from my ISP. Again, I'm using typical business usage, I guess, not personal usage. However, there's no business plan available where I connect, and that's actually my only option where I am. I only have one ISP choice. And my bill was more than double what it should be because of overusage. And again, all legitimate, typical business usage. So we need higher bandwidth limits. Also, we need secure access. Data should be encrypted, and what a lot of people don't know, and maybe this should be a wake-up call, so I'm bringing it to all of your attention, is that on a lot of these rural wireless networks, there is absolutely no encryption. It is a wide-open network secured by just a number per computer, or only one computer or one radio can connect. However, anybody with a laptop that costs $400 and a half hour in their hands can actually get all of that data. They have access to all of that data traversing on that wireless network. And that's scary, that our life, our credit cards, our bills, our personal communications are really readily available to someone who can run a script. Also, I believe data shouldn't be inspected. I don't believe that an ISP has the right to decide if they can throttle my traffic based on if I'm downloading a torrent, which is basically, it's a peer-to-peer file sharing system, torrents are. And granted, a lot of pirates use these for copying music, but I'm a large Linux user, and I use Linux a lot, and all of these Linux downloads are through BitTorrent. So that's just something I believe that ISPs shouldn't be blocking. And this wraps us up to fair access. I don't believe traffic should be blocked or throttled. If you pay for bandwidth, I believe you should get that bandwidth. And the speed and price should be fair. And again, this goes to what was said earlier about having 3 ISPs per location to encourage fair practices as opposed to kind of a monopoly situation. So I guess that's it for me. I just, I'm a first-hand user. I live by it every day with my website, BCCHardware. We get about 4 million hits a month, give or take, and all this is ran from the basement of a farm. And that's just spectacular that is able to be done. But again, we need to increase the service and increase the quality of service going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Ben. Appreciate that, and a very, I think, appropriate set of comments.